Hello and welcome to my July 24th update for my GTNH playthrough. We're again starting off here in our B passive processing area. I'm pretty excited with the passive resource I set up today, which is actually the Alvearies blocks. This has been something I've wanted to do for a while, and actually I couldn't find the footage offhand. I know I have it, so I'll eventually show it someday, but originally when I constructed this building and it was just like a 4-foot high wall with like one little tiny ceiling right here, my goal was actually to right off the bat start doing this, but couldn't quite make it work. I didn't have enough gold, among other things. Didn't have enough seed oil and honey, and just there was like wires everywhere. This was pre-AE, and also I wasn't even using very much Ender conduit at the time, so that's pretty cool to finally have that set up. The way I ended up doing it is, so I added technically this is the old one, and added a new one down here, but basically I took the old assembly machine I was using for my Alvearies crafts and just made it so that it's constantly getting fed these 5 items, so it's constantly making the bundles of sticks here, or scented handling. I always forget it's called that. As well as I set up another machine that's constantly making, what is it? Right here actually, the casings that we need. These impregnated casings. So those two are constantly passively crafting. Well, at the same time, down here, I have another assembling machine that still has all the different components in here, just in case I need to craft more at once than what is being passively built. Along with pacifying those, though, I discovered something, and I kind of feel silly that I didn't know existed before, but I'm really, really excited to have found it, because I only want one stack of this at a time, so I don't really have to stress about running out of honey when I'm crafting the fancier pieces like the fans or heaters or whatever. And there's this thing called a storage downgrade. So I didn't realize that it was in the game, because whenever I looked at upgrades for the barrels, I just always typed in upgrade, and then I just had a random thought. I was like, oh, what about downgrade? Also, now that I say that, I look right here, and apparently I was just blind this whole time. I never noticed this guy. I was looking for this guy right here this whole time. So there's a couple other spots where I'd been dropping mini chests and using that as my thing for one stack, but now that I have that, there's a couple different spots that I'm going to implement those. So that was pretty cool. So along with that, had to set up just a tiny little line here for, so this little section I'm just automatically putting gold in, making some gold wire, and then that ultimately makes its way over there. This guy is actually just here to assemble the Alvearies by themselves. One of the other things I did in here, just to prevent myself from losing power but still keep things moving, I did downgrade this guy back to just being EV tier LCR. I have all the components here if I ever need to go back up, because we are getting closer to IV. A lot closer, actually. That's be one of the cool updates I show you guys. But, so I wanted to quickly be able to throw this on, although the way I think I'm going to do it is I might just make a separate LCR altogether specifically for the IV items, that being the tungsten and stuff, so I can just run it as needed, because I have plenty of tungsten steel, dust, wherever it is in here. It's somewhere in here. Neodymium, got tons of that now. Don't have to worry about that running out. Not a big deal how much explicitly it is, but oh yeah, 16k currently, so we're sitting fine. I should probably at some point here soon set up a little mini thing to just passively make some actual tungsten steel. So once we do actually go into IV, I'm not sitting there waiting on ingots. I have a backlog already. Also, I forgot I turned the volume up 2 this down a peg. Everything's real noisy in this part of the base in particular. So yeah, that's what I did in here. It's coming along well. I did add this one to the network as well, but all these getting that set up, you can already see the difference already. Like, well, I did the other stuff I'm about to talk to during the day. It passively crafted me enough of these blocks that I was able to at least get the basis for 6 of these set up, or well, actually 7 of these set down. These are all going to be lithium ones because I am still running out of lithium constantly. It's very annoying, as you can see if I hop over here. Oh, it is catching up, but as soon as I start running the tungsten again, you're going to have issues, and we are going to need it for a different item, which I'll also get to here in a minute. So yeah, got that guy set up. The next thing I did was pretty cool. I made a decent amount of progress here in the quest book. So yesterday when we left off, I just got this epoxid. I actually was able to get both types of circuit boards here. I don't need this one for anything at the moment, but I figured while I was setting up this guy, these advanced circuit boards, I might as well set up these guys, the fiber reinforced ones. So those are all good and available on demand. Got 15 in here because that's how many you needed for the craft. On top of that, once I had those set up, the next thing I set up with was this wafer, which I'll show my setup here for a minute, and then pretty easily after that I was just basically made patterns for each of these ones and plugged them in. Now when you read the quest for this guy, it says to get to IV, basically you need 8, and then if you want to make an IV circuit assembling machine, I'm going to need 2 more, so I just auto-crafted 10, and I say just, that craft, to craft these 10, after I hit enter and go, that sucker took an hour and a half. I did have to set up one more laser engraver in my clean room because I didn't have an Ender-Eye one on passive, and you need that one for the Nor stuff, which specifically goes into mainframes. So I did that as well, but that's not really a big deal. We'll actually go to the circuit assembly, or go to the clean room here in a minute. But to get to that point, you need to set up a LCR for these nano CPU wafers. Basically what I did here, got myself LCR. I decided to use a bigger interface, or well, for all these multi-blocks I generally use an interface like this, but so it's got 2 things going on. It's by default just plug in glowstone into this extractor. Actually, so I can show it. Yeah, CPU wafer. So you need molten glowstone, central processing, and raw carbon fiber. So I got this in here. Just got a low voltage tank. I'm really liking these. I don't know why I never used them before, but they're really nice to just have like a little buffer. And then obviously the rest of it's pretty simple, straightforward. This guy takes the 2 items here, and then the wafer comes out, and we plug that guy over to the clean room. So this was set up right before I started going on the circuits. The next thing, well, that was really, doesn't seem like too much. I mean, I'm not too far into the video, but that took most of the day, but it was very satisfying. I had a lot of fun playing today. Getting the Alvearies thing set up in particular was very satisfying. Getting the new circuits, very satisfying. I will say I'm probably not going to update my patterns till the weekend, I believe. Just at some point when I'm just chilling and watching a show, I'll go through, and especially the ones, I'll probably only do the ones that I craft frequently to not have to craft MV circuits. So in this guy, this was the extra laser engraver I added. So I got all this stuff going on here. I have not upgraded this system to, oh, this guy's not even hooked up. This guy I'm probably going to eventually move over and just use for blood magic stuff, but we haven't had to touch blood magic in a while. This guy right here is just doing molten glass right into this machine for me. Probably actually will slightly alter this so that I'm doing molten glass not in the clean room and then just inserting it through this one interface, like change this guy to a dual interface that auto feeds molten glass, mainly because I do have a different assembly machine outside of the clean room that needs molten glass, and then also saving a circuit. It's going to be important because the next thing I want to do specifically in here, and you can see I even crafted them, is set up more circuit assemblers. I want to have, ideally would have 4 along this row, but I'll be satisfied for a little while with 3 because I don't think I'll need, I crafted those LUV circuits already. I assume I won't need many more for a while. Just as an example, like technically before doing this I could craft IV circuits, but the only time I ever actually did was to get to the moon, and in fact never even set up a pattern for the IV mainframe. Actually, like I hadn't even set up a pattern for aluminum frame boxes, which is like the quote-unquote circuit board for that tier of circuit. But having all these different circuits in just this one assembler, like I said, it took an hour and a half to craft those 10 LUV circuits. So yeah, I'm gonna sleep real quick while it's, because of the thunder, I don't want it to set anything on fire. So that'll be step 1 here. I'm gonna do that probably right after I stop recording, set up those. Step 2, gonna jump out of the EV quests and come back down to the space race quests, which right now I got it set up in the system to do these meteoric iron plates. Need to set up these heavy duty plates, which we've already set up the multi-block to be on AE to do both make more TNT as well as just be able to craft these and turn these tiny piles back into dust. So that's all done. This should be pretty straightforward. However, to make this ingot here, I need to set up a new bending machine because all these guys are made with triple plates, which I don't have a bending machine set up for that, but I have it crafted, so that'll be set up here. And then the final thing is the next item in the quest. It's actually back in the EV quest book, I believe. Is I need more nether stars. So I actually technically have enough right now. I've got 5, but I assume at some point sooner than later, I believe IV, the ender chests are open and stuff, and I assume those probably need nether stars, or we're gonna need them more. I was gonna try to figure out how to do the AE recipe for duplicating nether stars, and then give it some thought. I was like, what am I doing? I've been doing all these bees. We have a better way. I'm gonna set up a nether shard queen, or not nether, that will get us these guys. This is actually the wrong one altogether. Nether shard, nether. Nether star? Nether star. Sorry. I should have had these. I think I should have set up a bookmark over here, but so we can get these through. Oh, did the wrong direction. Get these through the sifter, through purified. Purified we can get through doing a chemical bath, and over here with the phallic acid at EV. So actually that's nice. I won't even need to go back to the higher tier one that I downgraded today, so we'll be able to get plenty of nether stars here just after breeding. It doesn't look too bad, especially with all the breeding we've done already. Oh, there's a wither one as well. Wonder if this one's easier. Withering drone, draconic drone. Interesting. Anyways, I'm glad I looked at this. I actually was gonna start going for the wrong one altogether, but that shouldn't be a big deal. But anyways, like I said, I'm gonna set up those couple things, and my goal for tomorrow would be to get the tier 2 rocket. But appreciate you guys all for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.